For my part in this allegory, I'm not going to make the same mistakes my father made. Howard vanished from my mother's life before I was even in it, so when he sent me a letter a few days after Mum's funeral, it was the first I'd ever heard from him. Pity he was dead. Writing from beyond the grave must be a genetic habit in my bloodline. His letter contained a key, instructions, pleas for forgiveness. I figured the dead don't have much use for absolution, so I turned to his prophetic passing, which he inexplicably expected to come any day. Clearly averse to explanations, my father preferred to leave directions to a bank on Mayfair I'd never even heard of. In that bank was a safety deposit box in his name, and myself as executor. Of course, I went, as he knew I would. I discovered that despite the evidence, he'd been legally declared dead almost 30 years ago, and so the old book and collection of notes I found had, in the eyes of the law, been mine all this time. My father's instructions were to burn the documents, raise no further questions. But that was his error. No man's immune to the shameful trappings of curiosity, and my humanity got the better of me. The university I taught at was world-renowned for two things: physics and linguistics. I represented the first, and the man who stood for the second was stumped by my recent acquisition. The book was indecipherable. The notes, however, showed a location somewhere in uninhabited northern Greenland. It took me almost a year to book the last flight I'd ever take. As I watched civilization disappear along with Heathrow, I realised my father had disappeared 3 decades ago, almost to the day, and I considered internally what it was that I was leaving behind. We landed on a strip of ice a few feet wide, and within minutes I was pulling away on a chartered boat, beginning the 12-hour journey that would lead me into my past.
Finally, we're almost docked. I'd better stow my gear. I may be far from home, but chances are I can still pick things up using left mouse, and I can take a closer look at things using right mouse. What's up, everyone? NCain here, and welcome to Penumbra Overture. This is a series I've actually wanted to get, another series I should say, I've actually wanted to get to for a long time now. I've been interested in pretty much most of Frictional Games' work. Obviously, Amnesia, stuff like that, other games that I plan to actually get to, but I do generally have more of an interest in where a company has started off, what was their vision, shit like that. And based on what I had seen of Penumbra over the years, it's what's not to be interested in. But yeah, I've been interested in the Penumbra series. I plan to eventually get to it, and thanks to a GOG deal and whatnot, just one of those deals you can't really refuse, whole series basically for cheap. What's not to want? Okay. I'm certain this map's a good decade or so out of date, but landmarks don't change much in Greenland, so I've got a pretty decent idea of where I'm heading. I will acknowledge right off the bat, I haven't played the game, but this won't be completely blind up to a certain point when some of the shit starts to hit the fan, basically. I needed to make sure everything ran smoothly enough. And also the other day I actually did try and do a recording with and the volume was initially too loud. I was able to edit it via the INI file and whatnot, so that way I could actually hear myself fucking, think and whatnot. Also change some of the audio settings, so that way it's a bit more immersive for me, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I will point out when things are properly going to be blind again. Alright, whiskey, empty, shame. Cans. The crew seemed friendly enough, but just in case, I locked up my valuables. I'm pretty sure the key's in my inventory somewhere. Once I found it, double-clicking the left mouse button should get it selected, and then I can press interact on the padlock to unlock it. I'll get to that soon enough. It's a rickety wooden desk. I can get the drawer open if I just hold the interact button and drag with the mouse. Okay. The flashlight switches on and off via the inventory tab, or hopefully with the shortcut F key. Okay. Really does force you to put your weight behind it, so to speak. Pretty odorous. Glad I'm getting out of here soon. They must eat, sleep, and, well, shit, and do everything else in this one room for weeks at a time. Playboy poster. It's nice to see that some things don't change no matter how far from home you are. Photo of the fisherman's wife. She's no Playboy bunny, but she looks loving and kind. Okay. Somewhere out there must be land and dancers. From the smell, I'd say there's an equal chance that they use this chest for personal belongings or bait. Okay. And more whiskey. Dearest Eric, just a quick note before you set sail and leave me once again. I've left you a little something to remember me by in the chest at the foot of your bed. I really don't know why you still only have one bed on board. Taking shifts because of it is no way to get your rest. But what does a fisherman's wife know of a life at sea? I'll be praying every night for you to make catch you need so that you can come home to me safely and soon. Please don't be gone for 5 weeks like last time. I know I might nag sometimes, but I do love you, you know. I've washed those overalls of yours. I know you'll get them covered in assorted fish parts in no time, but I still feel better knowing that they've had a wash. Before I forget, the Henriksons in the village have asked me to see if you'll be coming by any trout. But I said that they were mostly out of season. If you do happen upon any, don't say anything. Stow them well on the ice, and I'll do something special with them to celebrate when you come home to me. The ship captain deserves a little special treatment once in a while. Take care, my love. Fisherman's wife's love letter. Forgot to do the part where it talks about, maybe I should respect his privacy. Sorry, immersive game. Alrighty. I think that was everything in terms of reading. The fog has closed in on us almost as soon as we left port. Haven't seen any landmarks for ages now. I don't know how they're managing to navigate. I'd be as good as lost at sea if I was on my own. And a thought worth thinking. Okay. It leads out onto the deck, but I don't fancy braving the water until I have to. Alright, I guess it's time to unlock now, or... Good thing I have my torch at hand. This country seems to exist in a permanent state of twilight. Okay, it could come in handy if the torch runs out of batteries. I think I should be able to access it through my inventory or with the shortcut G. And batteries. Ah, some extra batteries to power my flashlight. Always good to have a notebook to jot down interesting information and reminders. That should be everything I need. I want to get going before dark. Okay. Okay, N for... Alright, here we go. As I stepped off the boat, setting out into the blizzard that had formed around me, I realized how utterly devoted I'd been to the discovery of my father's past. I had no idea what to expect. Soon enough, my concerns were justified. I don't know whether I lost my orientation or my spirit first, but I lost feeling in my extremities soon after, and I knew hypothermia was setting in. I started to look for shelter. So cold, don't know where I am, need shelter soon. My entire head went numb a long time ago, but I can still hear the wind roaring past, or is that some kind of animal in the distance? If I click and hold the interact, I should be able to manage to pick up that rock. The cold's made me weak, but I can still throw things. A rock. Okay. Something that both frustrates me and fascinates me is how much more useful picking up items seems to actually be in this context. More accurately. Okay. I hope to God it's not frozen, so I'm so weak. If I just use interact mode, I should be able to move the wheel a bit easier. Okay. Come on. And down the stairs. That went easier. Jesus, my head. I can't believe I fell that far and survived. Although, looking around, maybe I didn't. Is this hell? Yeah, last time I actually played this through speakers the first time, so I didn't actually hear the falling sound very clearly. Explains a lot. Okay. A heavy-looking wooden barrel, could be anything inside of it. Alright. Empty box of ammunition. What is this place? Alright. Pipe. Steel rod. Flare. Another one. It's a wooden door. I hope it's open. It's stuck. There must be something in the way. Okay. The 24-hour ration pack, long past its sell-by date. Okay. Another flare. Like I said, I both love and hate the fact I need to move these kind of things more often. Okay. Let's see, if I swing this hammer, okay, I can make a swing by pulling them. I have made it easier on myself to do this. I'm not apologizing, considering it really does require you to whack. I reckon if I hold after, I should be able to still look around. Yeah. These shelves are as old as everything else around here. Could be over 50 years since anyone's been down here. Those wood shelves slowly falling apart. Metal shelf. Alright, put this away for now. I'm losing blood, but I should be okay. Alright. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I can't. Can I move this? No. Alright. Old as they are, they won't pull off with my bare hands. This hole's been boarded up a long time. This hole's been boarded up a long time ago. It would look soft now. Time to ratchet the hell out of it. Alright. Delightful. Oh, that was new. Okay. Well, that answers the question I had when I was first testing that out. Okay, it looks like some kind of industrial mechanism, although there's a hole in the center and no way to operate it. Not gonna lie, forgot about that. This hatch is seriously solid, it won't open by hand. Someone obviously wanted to keep people out. Or in. Fucker. Okay. Alright, so now that's open. Alright, metal rod. God, this really does force you to work the mouse. Here we go. I don't know where this leads or what's waiting for me, but unless I want to starve to death, it's my only option. Besides, maybe this place has something to do with my father. Whatever I was descending into, it was 100 feet below ground, protected by two solid metal hatches located in a remote Arctic wilderness, and a buried hatch beneath the snow. I didn't know what to expect, but it made me feel something I hadn't felt since I was a child. I'd never given much thought before, but I realized that our entire society is a network of safety nets. Emergency services at the end of the phone line, health and safety in the workplace, friends, family, lovers, all there. If something goes wrong, part of a carefully designed structure to prevent all but the most mundane of emotions. Once again, I felt like I did when I was in school, surrounded by the closing ring of older kids, knowing anyone that might help me, friends, parents, teachers, were too scared or too far away. There, brother. Jotted down a note just in case. The entrance to the cave is caved in. There must be another way out. There could be anything lying down here. Heroics are for Hollywood actors and fairy tales. I'm not taking any chances, as if I face off against anything down here, I won't last a second. Caution and stealth are my only defenses now. If anyone or anything hears me, I'd be best off staying low and out of sight until I know whether or not it's a threat. Crouching by pressing left control will give me the chance to hide in the shadows. I'll know I've got it right because of the blue tint to my vision. Plus, I should be quiet enough that I won't be heard unless something's right in front of me. Better remember to shut off any light sources, though. I hate that shit. My best bet is to hide for a couple of seconds, or that would make me properly hidden. Okay. Like that'll be virtually invisible, and after some time I should get my night vision back, provided I stay still. Wooden box. This must be old if they were still using paraffin lamps. Looks like there's still some juice left. Storage, office, explosives, workshop, northern area. Alright. A large wooden box, rocks, a bottle. think I'll save that. Okay. I did not go here the last time. At least I'll remember the location now. So much history in this place, tied up in words and left to decompose. Backstrand. 15th of August 1945, Command Bunker, Emergency Airstrip Zulu, Weekly Report. Another unremarkable week in Greenland. Regular supply shipment received. Standard emergency drills carried out. Routine runaway maintenance completed. I have ordered maintenance be carried out twice weekly from here on in. Due to increased snowfall. 1 wounded. The 1 wounded figure is no cause for concern back in London. The Germans haven't extended their front line by 4,000 miles. 2 of my men were caught manufacturing cherry bombs in our workshop/armory and succeeded in blowing off a couple of fingers. I take partial responsibility for this in that I allowed them to access the demolitions manual we keep in the storeroom, and I'm sure that's where they learnt the ingredients. As a precautionary measure, I have now locked up that manual in the chest in my office and will keep the key on my person at all times. Needless to say, both men have been disciplined, and the injured man has been sent home for medical care. I cannot help but think that a more suitable punishment would have been for him to stay here, but that matter is out of my hands. This base is so disconnected sometimes. I feel as if this war could end and we might not even hear about it here. Supplies requisition order, dynamite for excavation purposes, 7 bayonets, not necessary in my opinion, but procedure states we should have a full complement. 1 industrial ice pack for removing the damn ice that forms on the external hatch. Ice pick, sorry. 1 pair of reading glasses, category 7C, an order for myself. My glasses are in a rather poor state of repair and could do with replacing. Reconditioning of the mine continues to progress. The structure is being fortified from potential bomb damage, and excavation of previously caved-in areas going ahead. 1 point of curiosity is some kind of archaeological find. An artifact buried in the earth and discovered by one of the work teams. Later this evening, after marshal duty, I shall take a closer look at the artifact. It appears to be man-made and may have working parts inside. I shall remove what looks like the front cover and see if I can't discover the source of light which constantly emanates from it. Chief NCO M. Major. That was interesting. Even more interesting than the last time I tried this. Oh, okay. I can't move the whole thing. I can just move the shelving portions. Ah, more batteries. Cool. Okay. Yeah, this is for all intents and purposes blind. I did not go this spot before. Copenhagen Post, Monday 17th August 1930. Psychotropic deposits at the bottom of Death Mine. Researchers at the University of Copenhagen have suggested that the mind-altering chemicals naturally sewn into the rock may be the cause of high suicide rates at the Greenland mine. The university, which has recently been conducting studies into isolated communities, first became interested in the workers of the northwestern lead mine last year. They discovered that even taking into account Greenland's naturally higher suicide rate, local figures for the last 100 years were abnormally high, at 46 deaths per 100,000 populace compared to the national average of 29. On further investigation, experts diagnosed in many of the minor symptoms in common with earlier stages of paranoid schizophrenia. This has prompted researchers to hypothesize that these natural deposits of lysergic acid, a pH4 formula recently discovered to have hallucinogenic properties, may be present in the rocks. Few locals were conducive to interview, but those who agreed to speak had their own explanation. Inuit spirits known as the Turnget live in the mountains. The university is awaiting the results of the chemical testing. Studies continue. Serious, this spot is so much more interesting. Small key. For locker or container. Okay. Move the chair out of the way. Alright. Really? Nothing in there? Okay. Beef jerky. I don't think I need to use that now. Okay. Nothing of interest. Rotting wooden shelves. I can talk. Must be the added moisture from that grate. This whole room is putrefying. Light. I miss being outside already. This place is starting to get to me. But even if I could reach that grate, it looks built into the rock itself. No way it's coming loose. Not unless you beat the shit out of it for, I don't know, ever. Oh, another flare. Okay. Anything in here? No. Oh, yeah, isn't there a... There we go. Okay. Ah, more beef jerky. Really need to get used to holding R more on this. Okay, yeah, holding R does make it go more smoothly. I'll keep that in mind. I should say a little bit more smoothly, not perfectly. A little bit more smoothly. I wouldn't call it perfect. Painkillers? I think. Painkillers. Okay. Ah, okay, so it's a mode shift, basically. I need to keep that in mind so I don't get myself stuck. An age-old filing cabinet. Alright. There we go. Big Book of Explosives, 1923 edition. Getting right to the point. Chapter 13 or 1 through 3? It's... Alright, black match fuse. Black match fuse is one of the oldest and simplest and most reliable fuses used in modern pyrotechnics. It is easy to create, essentially consisting of just string and gunpowder. But be warned, the chemicals concerned will stain clothing, and as always, due concern is advised. Materials required: string, preferably cotton, black gunpowder, and backstring, which I just grabbed, I believe. The string should be coated with a thin layer of backstring, which acts as an adhesive. The string is then carefully rolled in the gunpowder and left to dry for at least a couple of minutes before use. Okay, chapter 2, whatever. Dynamite. Invented by Alfred Nobel in 1866, dynamite is commonly used in construction, mining, and demolition. Excuse me. It has proved far safer to handle than alternatives such as pure nitroglycerin, provided, that is, it has been properly stored. Over time, the explosive component of dynamite, supposedly made safe by the presence of the diatomaceous earth, has a tendency to weep, making an old box of explosives liable to detonate on contact. Materials required: 1 part of diato earth, I'm just going to say it like that for ease of use and not murder the word. 3 parts of nitroglycerin, small amount of sodium carbonate. Text unreadable, and then simply, oh, that's going to be awkward, and then simply form into sticks and wrap in paper. Delightful. TNT. TNT was first discovered in 1863 by German chemist Joseph Wilbrand, but it took some years before it actually yielded its true potential. This was because of the difficulty of making it explode and the lesser detonation in comparison to dynamite. The main advantage was discovered by the German Navy, who employed TNT's relative explosive stability in order to cause massive damage to British warships. Their torpedoes could be detonated inside of a ship's armor rather than exploding on contact, as did other shells. That is kind of convenient. Armstrong's mixture. Armstrong's mixture is included in this book as more of a point of interest than as a viable chemical mix. The formula exists somewhat of a legend in modern pyrotechnics, referenced by those knowledgeable enough to stay away from it as death mix. Its incredible volatility make it unsuitable for almost all potential applications. Materials required: red phosphorus and barium. This mixture can be carefully and slowly mixed to minimize risk to the chemist. Sulfur can substitute for some or all of the barium to slightly decrease sensitivity. I get the distinct feeling I'm going to be wanting that at some point or another. Cool. Alright, now for the first weird part. A man, an old man clutching something unseen. He is strange, and yet he is no stranger. Never seen before. Still I know this man before me is Howard. I call him Father. What the hell just happened? I don't know if that was such a good idea. Save point, if I recall correctly. There, it is a really weird mechanic, though. Alright. Oh, I didn't realize there was... Oh, yeah, duh. Okay, it's a picture of a British platoon. It must date back to World War II. I suppose this mine was converted into some kind of bunker. Is that the last of it? Here we go.